Hello everyone, and welcome to BioScholar. Did you ever notice how your body responds so quickly to any stimulus? Whether it's heat, cold, pain, pressure, even taste and smell. You can instantly tell whether the meal is fresh or spoiled. Why? Because you have a powerful system in your body known as the nervous system, working tirelessly day and night. And the real heroes of this system, neurons. This is what a neuron looks like. It's present everywhere in your body, from your brain to your spinal cord, and across every inch in the form of nerves. Neurons transmit messages in fractions of a second, making your reactions incredibly fast. To understand this better, you need to dive into the structure of a neuron and see how intricately nature has designed this marvel. Like every other cell in our body, a neuron is perfectly built for its function. The structure of a typical neuron can be divided into three major parts. This part here is called the cell body, also known as the soma. This is the second part named as axon, and this is the third part named as axon terminal. The cell body or soma is the central part of the neuron. Surrounding it is the plasma membrane, a lipid bilayer with embedded proteins, just like in other animal cells. This membrane encloses the soma and separates its internal environment from the external surroundings. Inside the soma, you'll find the nucleus, the control center of the neuron, along with other important organelles like mitochondria, the Golgi apparatus, and Nissel's granules. These granules are actually clusters of ribosomes associated with the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and they play a vital role in protein synthesis. The cell body is the main nutritional and metabolic center of the neuron. It is responsible for the biosynthesis of materials necessary for the growth, repair, and maintenance of the entire neuron. Here's something interesting. If the cell body remains intact, it can regenerate damaged axonal and dendritic fibers. However, once neurons mature, they lose the ability to divide, meaning they do not undergo mitosis like other body cells. The neuron has protoplasmic processes arising from its cell body, and these extensions contain various organelles within them. There are two main types of these cytoplasmic processes, dendron and axon. Let's start with the dendron. It is the larger, primary extension that branches directly out from the cell body. Dendrons contain important structures like Nissel granules and neurofibrils, both of which play a key role in the functioning of the neuron. The main job of a dendron is to transmit nerve impulses toward the neuron's cell body. In other words, it brings information in. Now, the dendron further branches out into fine fibers called dendrites. Dendrites are shorter and more numerous than dendrons. These are the primary receiving sites of a neuron. They receive signals from other neurons through synapses. Dendrons and dendrites are the part of cell body. The second type of cytoplasmic process is the axon. It is a long, slender projection that extends from the cell body and plays a key role in transmitting signals. The membrane surrounding the axon is called the axolemma. It acts as a barrier, separating the internal contents of the axon, known as the axoplasm, from the external environment. The axoplasm contains important components like microtubules, neurofibrils, rough endoplasmic reticulum, and mitochondria, all of which support the axon's structure and function. The main function of the axon is to transmit action potentials away from the cell body to other neurons, muscles, or glands. There are two types of axons found in the nervous system. First, unmyelinated axons. These axons lack a myelin sheath. The action potential travels along them at a normal speed. Unmyelinated axons are mostly found in the autonomic nervous system. Then there are myelinated axons. These are covered with a myelin sheath, a protective fatty layer that increases the speed of impulse transmission. Myelinated axons are commonly found in the central nervous system. There are small gaps between the myelin sheath segments, and these are called the nodes of Ranvier. The action potential doesn't travel continuously along the axon, but rather jumps from one node to the next. This jumping mechanism is called saltatory conduction, and it greatly speeds up the transmission of nerve impulses. The third part of the neuron is the axon terminal. These terminals are often enlarged and club-shaped, and they contain vesicles filled with neurotransmitters. These vesicles, known as synaptic vesicles, play a critical role. They store neurotransmitters and release them into the synaptic cleft when an action potential arrives at the terminal. An axon can have multiple terminals, which means it can form synapses with several other neurons or target cells at the same time. This branching allows one neuron to spread signals efficiently throughout the nervous system. The axon terminal is essential for information transfer. It is the final step in neural communication, ensuring that signals are passed on accurately and rapidly from one cell to the next. Between the axon and the cell body, there is a critical region called the axon hillock. The axon hillock is a cone-shaped area of the neuron's cell body where the axon originates. It is structurally distinct from the rest of the soma. Unlike other parts of the cell body, the axon hillock lacks certain organelles like Nissl bodies and the Golgi apparatus. Instead, it contains specialized proteins, microtubules, and a high concentration of ion channels, which are essential for its function. The axon hillock acts as the integration center of the neuron. It gathers incoming signals from dendrites and the cell body. These incoming signals can be excitatory or inhibitory. The axon hillock serves as a decision-making point for the neuron. It sums up all the incoming signals, and if the combined input reaches a certain threshold, it initiates an action potential, the nerve impulse that travels down the axon. If the threshold is not reached, the action potential is not generated. In that case, the signal simply dies out. That's it for today's episode on the neuron. But remember, not all neurons are the same. There are three main types of neurons, each designed for a specialized function in the nervous system. Want to know what they are? Click here to watch the next episode.